New twists and turns in the Jeffrey Epstein case. Today, there are new reports that the FBI now wants to speak with Prince Andrew. Meantime, the widow of the late Senator John McCain made headlines after saying that everyone knew what Epstein was doing, and now accusing law enforcement of being too afraid to arrest him. RT's Trinity Chavez is joining us live to talk more about this. So Trinity, Cindy McCain's comments are pretty explosive.
Hi, Manila. It appears that that's the case. The conference was about sex trafficking and slavery. And right off the bat, she told the audience how a girl that went to her daughter's high school was also a victim of Jeffrey Epstein. And then she went on to answering questions from the audience, and she blasted authorities who were, quote, afraid to arrest the convicted sex trafficker, despite the fact that everyone knew about what he was doing.
We're talking about the Jeffrey Epstein thing. He's in hell, I hope. I hope he's in hell right now. He deserves to be. A girl from my daughter's high school was one of his victims. That's how close to home it came to us. Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing. But we had no one that was, no legal aspect that would go after him. They were afraid of him. For whatever reason, they were afraid of him.
We now know that Epstein's massive wealth and his powerful connections did, in fact, play an instrumental role, which allowed him to continue trafficking young women and underage girls long after his illegal activity was exposed. In fact, we are now learning that federal prosecutors here in New York and the FBI have asked to interview Prince Andrew as a part of the ongoing criminal investigations into Epstein's co-conspirators.
Trinity, we're also learning that the warden who was in charge of the jail where Epstein died is also being moved to a new leadership position at a different facility. What's going on there?
That's right. The Federal Bureau of Prisons is planning to move the warden to a leadership role at the FCI Fort Dix on February 2nd. Now, it's a low-security prison in Burlington County in New Jersey, despite the fact that the jail he was overseeing was plagued with problems. During the time of Epstein's death, surveillance cameras weren't working. The guards who were supposed to be checking on Epstein every half an hour fell asleep on the job, allegedly forged documentation to make it seem like they were checking on Epstein when, in fact, they were not. Epstein also didn't have a cellmate for some reason during the time of his death. And there are just so many unanswered questions here. And not only that, there are still multiple investigations into Epstein's death that are still ongoing. The Inspector General's investigation is still ongoing. The Justice Department is still probing the circumstances that led to Epstein's death, including why he wasn't even given a cellmate during that time. Epstein's death really, has cast a spotlight on the Bureau of Prisons and has highlighted a series of discrepancies in one of the most high-profile and secure jails in the country. Attorney General William Barr has even said that Epstein's ability to take his own life had raised serious questions, and in an interview with the Associated Press in November, Barr said that the investigation revealed a series of mistakes that created a, quote, perfect storm of screw-ups that allowed Epstein to take his own life. So as you can imagine, many are wondering why the warden is now getting a promotion at this time when there are still, like I said, so many unanswered questions. Back to you, Manila.
And for more on this still unfolding controversy that is Jeffrey Epstein, legal and media analyst Lionel weighs in. All right, Lionel, so an audience member at this human trafficking awareness event posed a question to Cindy McCain, the wife of late Senator John McCain. Her answer was a bit odd, don't you think? I mean, she said we all knew about him and that there was no real recourse. How did you read her response to that audience member?
Well, it's odd, but it's not, because everybody did know, including everybody here in New York for years. Now, Manila, the question I have is, the only people or persons who have been in any way charged in any way whatsoever were the two guards who apparently fell asleep. And this is never done before. The way Bill Barr talks about this, they talk around the issue that he was murdered. Now, I don't know why this is so difficult for the Department of Justice or the Bureau of Prisons to say he was murdered. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. And it's just beyond a meme. Now, Manila, there is no duty, unfortunately, to report instances of known child abuse unless you are in a status where you are what is called a mandatory reporter, a teacher, somebody in mental health, somebody who by virtue of a statutorily defined position where you have to do this, lest you face criminal punishment yourself. Now, there's also something called misprision, which is a federal statute, which I think should be charged more, which in some cases makes somebody liable for knowing that a felony has occurred and not reporting it. You know, our brother's keeper, I think, needs to be looked at. But what we're seeing yet again, as of today, nothing has been done. Nothing. And number one, oh, I love the way they said, getting around to talking to Prince Andrew. Getting around? What do you mean getting around? He could be a co-defendant. But Ghislaine Maxwell, number one, public enemy number one. Where is she? Why is she not indicted? Why is she not arrested? Why is she not in custody as a material witness? She is off the radar. No one is talking about it.
And Lionel, the thing is, you know, Cindy McCain's response, I mean, doesn't that kind of speak exactly to the thing that the person asked her, that essentially that it's the wealthy, the untouchables in the society that live above the law, including molesting children? How pervasive of a problem do you believe this to be among that class of elite people?
I don't think it's that. I think it's pervasive at all levels. But let me tell you what the biggest culprit is. The way we have phrased and couched this, the way he has been grooming, we talk around it through euphemisms, that Ghislaine procured, they referred to her as a pimp. That would imply these were prostitutes. And by the way, as we speak, in the state of New York right now, and in 7 states, there are moves made to make prostitution now either decriminalized or legalized. And the UN just weighed in. As long as you hear this, as long as you make this act of actually predation on children seem to be that of call girl-like prostitution, by virtue of this euphemism, that's what shields him. And again, I ask, Ghislaine Maxwell, where is she? I don't know. She was at an In-N-Out burger. We know all this about her. Manila, this is not even funny anymore. This is beyond. This is a travesty.
It's become a very sick obsession, I think, with a lot of people, that they do speak about her like she's this, you know, rich socialite and what have you, which is the exact group that I guess Cindy McCain was referring to. But Lionel, let me ask you to think back to your prosecutor days. Over at MCC, do you find it at all suspicious that that warden at MCC at the time of Epstein's death is now being transferred to another federal Bureau of Prisons gig in New Jersey? How common is it for a warden to get a job transfer?
Well, this is a very strong, I mean, what people are saying is, the fix is in, or unions, or some federal lobbying agency that makes the removal of a warden rare. But it makes me wonder, it's the same thing when you hear about the Catholic Church. What does a priest have to do to get excommunicated? What does a prison warden have to do to get fired? Who is it? The only people, again, were these 2 guards. And by the way, no one is prosecuted. Remember, they're being prosecuted, not administratively removed or reprimanded or sued civilly. The only 2 people. So this is just horrendous.
Well, Lionel, Lamine Ndiaye, I'm sure I'm butchering his name, but Mr. Ndiaye is the warden's name. Immediately following Epstein's death, Ndiaye was placed on desk duty at the behest of Bill Barr, the AG. Now they're permitting this transfer to FCI Fort Dix, where he'll be back to regular job duties there. Does this then imply that the DOJ investigation is winding down, or that the warden is perhaps not implicated in any sort of cover-up?
Or business as usual. The question I have, and I don't know the answer to, is he involved in any civil litigation on the part of let's say, Epstein's brother.
Right.
Who is going after? What active investigations are going on now civilly? Is he under subpoena? Will he testify? Will he be able to? Remember, these two guards cannot be talked to because they're pleading the Fifth Amendment as criminal charges pending. This is unheard of. If I did not know better, if this was any other country or any other, I would say that the federal government is deliberately obstructing this. But that can't be in our country. I can't believe that people are going out of their way to thwart and obfuscate and obstruct justice, because we've been using obstruction of justice a lot. Why is it that there are so many roadblocks to go over, number one, who killed Jeffrey Epstein, and number two, why Ghislaine Maxwell and Prince Charles? By the way, he suffers or enjoys no immunity. Don't give me this palace stuff. He is. I mean, so we're just, you and I keep talking about this every week, and the Department of Justice, I guess they're busy with impeachment or whatever they're busy with.
I guess. I mean, we're on it. We're staying with it. And as always, I appreciate your legal expertise. Lionel of Lionel Media. Thank you, my friend.